What is up, my Lorcana Goons, and welcome back to Lorcana Goons channel. My name is Kevin. You're watching the Friday Weekly Market Watch, and this time we're live with Zach Stone. We usually have him on Discord, but he's going to be hanging out with us today in our hotel room because we're at DLC Vegas. Zach, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. Honestly, this weekend's already been a blast. Kevin and I got here yesterday. We celebrated his big 3-0 right here, his 30th birthday, which is an awesome celebration milestone to achieve. Give it up, guys, because Kevin made it 30 years and we're still playing card games. It's
Yeah.
great. It's great. So we got a lot to talk about today. This Lucky Rabbit Oswald is a promo from the D23 set, and we're seeing a spike. And the reasons I feel like this could be going up was the first thought was the initial lore cast that revealed the character, the hero character. But you also just told me that there is a few like errors on this card, like how they changed the wording from the official release, from the artist's name being incorrect. Like, that's always like something to think about with like Lorcana. Everyone kind of goes nuts over it. Like, how much have you seen people kind of like go crazy for these kind of cards, Kevin?
Yeah, the whole like errata reprint kind of situation for Lorcana. It tends to be hyped, a little overhyped too. We saw Bucky start selling around for $20 when the whole Bucky errata happened, and now they came down definitely. But yeah, this one in particular, they're changing one word on this on this actual card from they to it. And then one of the biggest issues though was the fact that they basically forgot to credit one of the artists. So there's supposed to be, I guess it was a collaboration. It was two artists that were used to make this card, and the actual collection, I'm sorry, the actual core set, it's going to be a legendary, but it has both artists' names. But in the D23 collection, there's only one artist's name, and and it's funny because that's the second error for this D23 collection because they put the wrong artist name on the Bruno too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of sucks. If you're one of the artists that have worked on these cards, it kind of sucks for you. But if you're a collector, maybe you want to look into keeping some of these cards, right?
Yeah, no, the D23 set has a lot of collectability, and going forward, it's probably something to consider if you are in this like kind of space. Just for the fact that like only like releases during certain times, and when they don't get restocked ever again, or something to kind of consider in the collectability world. This is just kind of cool. It featured like one card of every art, and I think one card from every set. So it had a nice little interesting take to that, which I liked a lot. And even though they paid like a lot of paid some attention to detail there, they might have rushed this, of course, seeing how the amount of errors are there on some of these cards. But there are some sellers today that are selling around like $320, $325. But we actually saw at the DLC some booths have these for sale at around $400. So just consider, guys, that like these will just only go up in value. Um, being able to just like have these as part of the collectability world is like really, I think, not important or necessary. But if you are trying to have everything, like every piece of Lorcana, this is definitely something that you need to have.
Yeah, especially given the lore with the whole D23 thing and how they initially announced Lorcana through D23 a couple years ago. I didn't even realize that there's one card from every set. You just like blew my mind. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't realize it. It makes sense. Yeah, it's from going from left to right too. That's hilarious. Yeah, a very cool collection indeed. I'm glad I copped some. I'm glad I did not panic sell mine. So many people were selling them for 120, 140, 150 the week after. There's just a lot of fear, undoubt, and what's that word?
Just uncertainty
There you go.
and
Fear,
FUD.
uncertainty. Yeah, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. There you go. But there's a lot of that in the Lorcana communities when it comes to like collectibles. I feel like a lot of people just kind of want to rain on people's parades. So try and ignore those Facebook posts of people saying that stuff is that the game is dying and stuff because it's clearly not. You know what I mean? And definitely, if you just are someone who's collecting, or you're trying to make a quick buck, it's not going to work that way. But if you're just in collecting because you genuinely like the collecting aspect of it, then yeah, you'll see the benefits of it regardless because it's gonna be part of your collection, right? Speaking of collectibles, Elsa Spirit of Winter, Enchanted Rare, going back up. in price. Pretty cool. Lowest verified is now $999 for a near mint. Any of them that were less than 1,000 all sold already. You can check out the recent sales data right here on the 16th. Two of them selling for 870 and 850. On the 15th, 845 and 870. Yeah, a little bit less than 900, but after that, you're not going to find them at that price anymore. Basically $1,000. Kind of cool. Elsa going back up. I'm sure a lot of people are happy about that one.
Yeah, the card has also seen just some play in the Blurple decks too, which I don't know if that actually has an impact or people consider playing copies of the enchanted rares in their decks. But the biggest flex is the first chapter Elsa, in my opinion. Like besides like the D23 promos, like if you're talking about any card from any core set, this is the chase, and this is what people sometimes still buy first chapter packs to try and pull, believe it or not. There's a lot of people that are willing to like gamble that much to pull this card, and in my honest opinion, it's not worth it to do that. But if you like having fun, consider doing a draft with those packs, and then go forward there, because if you're just cracking it to try and pull it, the odds are you don't see this card, and you won't really make the best return on that investment, in my opinion. But the card has a lot of collectability, and so many people are still trying to get their first Elsa.
Can you imagine if you pack rush with the first chapter and you get an Elsa? They're doing pack rush side events at the DLC Vegas, and I wonder what packs they're going to use. I imagine Shimmering Skies, most recent set.
Probably Shimmering or Ursula's.
Okay, yeah, but imagine first chapter and you pull an Elsa. You have to shuffle the cards from the pack rush. So
You can check to see if they. Well, I'm sure they don't mind. Players are going to be able to look at their cards whether they want to or not, but you can just check to see if you have the enchanted, right? That's what they said on the Lorecast.
That's true. Yeah, if I ever pulled an enchanted from a pack rush, I'm calling Judge just to get a little quick, like, hey, just this is what happened. I don't want to use this card. In fact, can I just get some sleeves? Mufasa, ruler of Pride Rock, another great enchanted, kind of coming down from that highest listing we saw last week of close to $400. More reasonable listings are now available at around 310, 335, 340, all by non-verified sellers though. Lowest verified is still $399. So if you do want to pay $400 from a verified seller, you can right there. But if you want to get a little bit of a discount, maybe hook up some of these newer sellers and trust that they'll ship your enchanted card very correctly, with compassion and whatnot to make sure it doesn't come damaged. And you can take that risk and possibly save up to like $80, from buying from a non-verified seller to a verified seller, which is pretty cool. Yeah, cards going up in price. I think it's really good. I wouldn't be surprised if I see people top with this Mufasa card in their deck for this DLC Vegas weekend, and we might even see more people take interest in this card because, like you mentioned about the Elsa having playability, people will play with $1,000 cards for sure. When we saw Dale Bolito, he ended up in top cut with the in foil Cinderella Stout-Hearteds, and those are like $2,000 each almost. They're average around there, right? But yeah, it's people are definitely down to play these high cost cards. So speaking of the Cindy Stallhardy, if you are going to any DLCs, you can end up with one of these non-foil versions by playing side events and joining the side event tickets, and they sell for more than $100. So if you play the main event, you also get some tickets, and if depending on how well you do there, you can cash these in for a non-foil promo, and that's pretty cool. All in a day's work, get a little $100 card right there. Kayfabe cards, lowest verified 117 for your non-foil Cindy's, and Rapunzels are actually another option you can get that day, but they sell for just a little bit cheaper, which is strange to me because I like Rapunzel more. Rapunzel's a top 16 card as opposed to Cindy being the top 32 card. But these are a little cheaper. Lowest verified is still 115, so basically the same price. But non-verified sellers we have right here. TCG Legends Unite, $94. They do have 60% rating though. Take that for what you will. $100 right here by Wishful though. So around $100 for each promo. So if you are playing these cool events and you walk away with some side event pricing, they're around $100 each, which is nice. But I do want to go over a interesting enchanted rare, Sisu, Empowered Sibling. Been going up in price just a little bit this week. These were less than $100. Selling for around closer to, I want to say, 90-ish in the last couple of weeks through August. Yep, you could have gotten them for closer to $90 for your Sisu shiftable sibling is what I call it. And nowadays they're a little bit more than $100. Land in the front has them for 116 with $1.27 shipping. Then after that, 125 by Half Health Cells. Shout out you guys for these low prices. Yeah, cards going up in price, I think, because it's definitely more than playable this format. And on top of that, Red Blue has positioned itself as like one of the best decks of the format, I think. With Amber Steel picking up a lot in popularity, naturally a lot of players want to play the deck that has the best matchup against Amber Steel, which is Ruby Sapphire. And Ruby Sapphire is the deck that plays Big Sisu the best. Don't you agree, Zach?
Yeah, there's a lot of people like debating like how many copies you should be playing. Like some say four is the correct number. A lot of people I can see on the on the TCG player, like the amount of listings have gone down dramatically over the past week, and prices have even kind of gone up. We've seen this card below $17 within the last week or two, from verified sellers, of course. But now we're at like 21, 24. We do get a verified seller at a $21.85 plus $1 shipping. So take that for what you will. This card is going up when the amount of copies are always up for debate, but it seems to be like a minimum two of, or potentially a three of. I know that this card is like polarizing against certain matchups, and in a combination with Ice Block, it does be you're able to take down some three or potentially four strength characters with this. Um, and you can't ever like deny a three quester. That's just kind of always how I felt about this card. Cold foils, however, I still believe are like $30. So it's might be better to put your money into the cold foil copies because the card itself is just, I would say, more of a staple in a lot of like Ruby Sapphire decks. Like you're ramping pretty high. We do have one seller around $25. Starting to see like more of a competitive like race to make a sale. Like we always talk about, the more people realize how expensive some cards are, they want to move them, they want to sell them, so they're going to undersell to make the sale, and that's how the markets go. And it's all about finding out how much you're willing to spend. So if $25 looks right to you, there is a seller that has one available today.
That $25 one is calling my name. I like it when you got to pay $22 for a non-foil. $25 for a foil just seems right. The biggest issue, in my opinion, is that this does have an enchanted rare, so that technically is still not the max rarity. So I do not expect it to go too much higher than that, because at the end of the day, if I do want to spend $50 or something like that on like a Sisu card, I should just buy the enchanted rare. But yeah, that's still not bad. $25 for a cold foil, right? Robin Hood, champion of Sherwood. We are just talking about Amber Steel being positioned as one of the better decks this format, and you're definitely playing for Robin Hood in that deck. And because of that, they're still around $40. These have not really budged. Lowest non-verified, $38.96 with $1 shipping, and then it goes to Emerald Haven, $40.43 with $2.50 shipping. So about $42 now for your non-foil Robin Hood, champion of Sherwoods, which is pretty expensive. I'm used to seeing this card at less than 40, but I feel like after a lot of the more recent Amber Steel hype, people are not letting go of their Robin Hoods for anything less, right? Non-verified sellers have the cold foil for around $45, and lowest verified is $48.72, $1.22 shipping, so around $49 for a foil Robin Hood, champion of Sherwood. And alongside him, you got to play some more steel cards, sometimes like Beast Tragic Hero, but this card came down in price heavy, Zach. What is going on? 34.26. Nicodemus, lowest of verified. How do you feel about Beast Tragic Hero right now in the meta?
When cards don't see play, the high price goes away, and that's how the cookie crumbles. But the Beast Tragic Hero is still a card that always has potential, guys. It might be a good time to pick up some of these and hold it if you have some positions to put some money into cards right now. The cold foils are less than $70 too, and we've seen this card hit almost 80, 90, close to $100 before. This card still has potential being a Floodborn Shift 3, and we do not have a 1 or 2 cost beast yet. When we do, expect this card to see a lot more play. And if they make one, especially if it's steel, like if they don't limit like the combination of colors, like a red, a ruby beast would be a tease, like how they did the damage one, but that still costs 3. And this card will see play. Again, just it's not its time. It doesn't work well into the meta, unfortunately. Too many cards can get rid of it with a problem, in my opinion. And we're not seeing like we're seeing a lot more draw power in the meta game too. Like Clarabelle exists, so you're not really needing Beast to go off.
Yeah, you're not relying on this like you used to in your strategies. And in Amber Steel, it's not even about you have more draw power, but you have cards like Naveen, so you're able to just sing your draw power easier. Your deck is a lot more consistent, so you don't need Beast. And you know what else too? In the Bucky format, Beast Tragic Hero was a great top deck. And there's not really you're not really put in those situations right now. Like sometimes you are top decking back to back, but a lot of that isn't necessarily because of the way Bucky was being played. It's just kind of the way the game is being played out. And like again, like you were saying, I think Beast is a timeless card. I think it's not a card that I would personally want to get rid of if I had like a playset. It's a playset where I think to myself, now that I have this, I never have to let it go, because when this card becomes even better, then I'm ready to use it. So when it comes to like play sets of staples, I definitely want to hold on to cards like Beast, no matter how up or down the prices go. Even cards like Clarabelle, we picked up a bunch of them at $10, and they shot up all the way to $35, $40, and today they're $28, lowest verified shipping included by Gamers World Chi. And I still think Clarabelle is a great card. I think people might be sleeping on the possibility of Emerald Amethyst taking this DLC. As of late, I think a lot of people not only have found new confidence in playing that color combination, but have proven that you can do very well with not only the list that Earl Meister's been popularizing, but adding their own tweaks and whatnot. And usually Clarabelle is part of that package. So even though it has kind of come down in price, if you guys did buy them for a little bit higher, it's a card that's definitely worth keeping. That just gets better over time. Do want to see what the cold foils are looking like, because I was thinking that cold foils don't usually move too much. Maybe they're still $35, $40. Okay, not bad. They were going to be $33.90 lowest verified, and then $33.97 by PM James Studios. So if you want some cold foil Clarabelles, they're less than $35. They used to be $35.40 for the non-foils, so maybe you want to splurge a little bit on yourself. Maybe it's your 30th birthday too, and you want to get yourself some cold foil Clarabelles, right? Prince Naveen, lowest verified for a Prince Naveen ukulele player, is going to be $24.50 today by Hilltop TCG Singles. So it's still $25. Not too bad. I honestly would have thought it went up in price too by now, just because everybody's been hyping up Amber Steel as like one of the best decks. And I do think Amber Steel is a great deck, but are you going to play for Naveen? You guys let me know. Lowest verified for the cold foil Naveen is $27.99 with $5 shipping. Oh, it's non-verified actually by High Ground Games. Shout out you guys. Go help them out. They only have 3 sales. Give them their 4th sale, my goons. PM James Studios has the lowest verified for $32.98. Shipping included for a cold foil Naveen. Zach, are you thinking Amber Steel is going to take the cake this time? How do you think Naveen makes the impact on there?
Naveen definitely changes a lot about how this deck is more or less approached into like mulligan decisions, matchup variants. I think the card's very strong into the meta. It's another way to just play Whole New World a lot more safely, like you said, not having to rely on characters being sung. Or being ready to be able to sing songs is definitely adds a new layer to this deck that it didn't have before. Shifting is in a way to be able to do it when you play, but you're like removing a character from your board. You're not really like shifting is good to sing songs, but this is just better. And they printed a card that basically says play Whole New World for free, and that is pretty dang good. So Naveen is a card that I've always like felt it will be in Steel Song in probably forever now. This card's way too strong.
This card sings every card in your deck. It plays any song in your deck for free if you have it in your hand. Can quest for 2. I think questing for 2 and having 3 strength, 3 willpower was just the salt on the wound, right?
Dude, it's the 2 lore too, but it's a Singer 6, which I mean, like sing together is a mechanic that's still like not always explored. I've always talked about this card in like Amber Emerald with Sir Hiss. You're able to sing Under the Sea after this card is ink's already dry. And being able to play Bruno for free is still pretty good. So there's lots of ways that this card can still be explored. But for the DLC weekend, it's probably just going to be Amber Steel playing this card.
Yeah, I didn't think about sync together. The fact that this is a Singer 6 for sync together abilities is also a little nutty. But yeah, there's a lot of people playing Amber Steel right now. I think it's in the top 3. Top 3: Ruby Am, Amber Steel, Sapphire Ruby for sure. Lucky Dime. These are going to be $13, lowest verified by Nicodemus. And then after that, Blast Off Gaming also has them for $12.99. So $13 for your Lucky Dimes. They're going up a little bit. Let me see what the cold foils are looking like. These usually sit around $20+. Maybe they're still at 25. Nope, they're at $20.15 with $1.30 shipping. It's going to be by TCG, though, the max. TCG to the max. Shout out you guys. Lucky Dime, though, still very strong. Still a very popular card in Sapphire strategies. And if you're playing Ruby Sapphire, Sapphire Steel, maybe even Sapphire Emerald, there's a high chance you're playing Lucky Dime as well. Maleficent Monstrous Dragon. going back up in price actually. No longer less than 20 bucks. These were selling for like 18, $19 at lowest like a couple weeks ago, and people are transitioning to playing red blue again. So if they're picking up their dragons again, lowest verified is 24.96 by Feel Good Gaming LLC. I think Monstrous Dragon is a great card. I was this close to playing it in Ruby Amethyst, but we're just not quite there yet. But sometimes you just want to be able to control the board again, man. Lowest verified for the cold foils, $70.99 with $1 shipping. That's still really expensive for a cold foil that nobody really uses. But I think it has something to do with the fact that it's the first chapter, and there's like a collectability to that, right? So if you're trying to collect the first chapter, this is one of the cards you have to get, and it's a hard card to come across. Cold foils are very hard to pull in Lorcana. So from what I've seen, if you pull a really good cold foil, even just any staples, hold on to them because they always go up in price in Lorcana. Lowest verified for Be Prepared. If you are playing red cards, you probably want to play Be Prepared in your deck today too. Is going to be 1124 by Card Crack with a K. Shout out you guys for having the lowest verified Be Prepared today. No longer 10 bucks. These were less than 10 bucks. They were around $8, $6, $7 during the early August September format. I feel like a lot of people were kind of like, oh, I want to play 3 Be Prepared because it keeps on getting hit by Ursula, and now they're going back up. I guarantee you're going to see a lot of lists for Ruby M and Ruby Sapphire playing 4 Be Prep again.
Yeah, like the thought of Pete also locking this card out from being played that turn is also a thought there. This is still one of the strongest cards to have come out in Lorcana, and time again, there's a lot of people that when they build decks that don't include Ruby in it, they're always scared to play against Ruby because Be Prepared exists. Like if they go greedy into like a heavy mid range or heavy like control strategy, Be Prepared is always like a check answer to something like that, and it's really hard to play out of. Like again, it does have its strengths and weaknesses being a song. Ursula can definitely take it out of the hand. It will be stuck in the hand too if it's drawn early, which sucks. And with Amber Steel, also just being able to whole new world this card before this can be casted is a big impact to that matchup. And I know you talk about it a lot that I just drew like my Be Prepared at the wrong time and they wheeled them out of my hand. So that's just how that matchup goes. And as we're looking at whole new world's price, it kind of does reflect that this card is a very strong, impactful card still to this day. We're seeing the lowest price right now around $14.09. That is from a verified seller with 4 copies, and I do always implore people to just buy from one seller. That way it's just all coming together in one package. It's very important too that it's very important that you guys do know that when you're spending I would say roughly around like 30 or more dollars, that sellers there would more than likely track your order due to it being of a higher price point, and you get to kind of like see when this card comes. A plain white envelope, however, doesn't get tracked, and you just have to wait till it shows up. And yeah, this is a very strong card. It's been this price since Jafar got announced as a character in set 3, and cold foils are yeah, I would say at least $25, and yeah, they're consistently that price across the board. So just get your foils, guys. The price is only $10 more. I think it's worth it.
Health points TCG got 3 of them for you, so you can go through one person to get 3 of them, which is really good because you got to pay like $1.20 shipping per each different seller, so you'll save yourself like $3 if you get all 4 from one person, right? But yeah, Whole New World's ridiculous. The only card in the game that messes up your opponent's mulligan on turn 1, turn 2, or how early you can sing it. And yeah, exactly. Like when you lose with the Ruby, it's against this deck. It's usually because they used Whole New World while you had your removal, and so you can't control that sometimes. If I mulligan into double B Prep and double Medusa, if you Whole New World me, that's 4 removal cards gone from my entire deck. So sometimes they just got to be lucky though, but they better be lucky against me tomorrow. Queen's Castle is going to be today selling for as low as $10.38 by CT's Archive, and then Feel Good Gaming has 4 of them for you ready to go, $10.38 as well. And then I like this price right now. I think people are going to start playing Ruby Am again after this weekend, and definitely going to start playing Amethyst Emerald, and I think Castle's going to see a lot more a rise in popularity. That's just my opinion. So I like that the cold foils are still less than $15 because they're $15 for the non-foil last format. The Bare Necessities, just some good cold foils now we want to close the market watch off with. The Bare Necessities is now selling for more than $5 for this cold foil. We have Titanium Cards LLC, $4.75 with $1.27 shipping. So if you got Bare Necessities in your binder, in your bulk, and you got some cold foils, these are now about $6, which is kind of cool.
The card is very good. Just looking at opponents' hands and getting knowledge is just something to always kind of consider in TCGs. And the thought there is that like getting to kind of see what your opponent has available gives you an idea of how you can play out the rest of your game plan. And it's really important too in a lot of matchups. Like bare necessities, ripping a fishbone quill on turn two does hurt the sapphire decks and slows them down. It's one of the stronger cards to play against that matchup when you're on Amber Steel because Whole New World sometimes isn't the card you want to play. But it does conflict, and I know there's a thought that bare necessities shouldn't be in the deck list, but Lemon Lime Song definitely has to play 4 copies, and this card is still very strong with Diablo. Ripping Brawls is super important. We're seeing Muses Cold Foil still like $10 right now, which is a very good card in this deck. Lemon Lime Song does need to be able to bounce characters and replay them like Ariel Singer. Also, just to kind of disrupt the board, painting the roses also reduces strength too, so you can start bouncing like some 3 strength characters and get the tempo back up. But it has ward, and that's also something to really think about. Ward is very good in this meta, and not a lot of decks are like able to deal with it. I don't know with like besides Ruby and like resistant Shift Cindy, I don't know what else deals with ward effectively.
Grab your sword, but you need like double grab your sword, triple
Yeah, but
grab
that
your
doesn't
sword.
kill it, so
Yeah,
it's
no, you're right. You're right. And you said an interesting thing. You said Ward is good. Personally, like Ward is interesting. I think what it is like characters, certain characters have good effects and Ward is what it is. You know what I mean? Because there's some characters that have Ward, but they do nothing. They do nothing. You quest with them once, they die. But cards like this, like Muses, Prince John, you don't have to do anything with them. They just sit there. They like little statues, little pawns, and they don't do anything. And if they set up like multiple Ward characters, they're gonna sing Under the Sea every time. Unless you play B prep. Let's go over some other cards from one of the top decks before we call it a day. Visions of the Future is one of my favorite cards for Sapphire that was released from Shimmering Skies, and they're about $4 now for your cold foils. Actually, $3 was looking like. We have non-verified sellers who got them for $1.96 with $1.27 shipping. That's pretty good. And then lowest verified is going to be Chasing Hits, $2.25 with $1.27 shipping. And some of these people do free shipping with more than $5, which is kind of cool. So you can go ahead and save some money that way. But this card's insane in Sapphire. Every time my opponent plays it, I roll my eyes, and I just already know that's a good criteria for cards. If it makes me roll my eyes when you play the card, then it has to be good. Yeah, being able to see 5 cards and pick a card, and depending on the scenario it makes the red blue deck so much more competitive, dude. Because you're no longer hoping that you're gonna see your out. You can just play 2 of these and draw 10 cards to find your out. It's actually crazy. Last card on this list though is gonna be Friends on the Other Side. Another common. Vision of the Future is a common, so it's not $5 yet. But this is the potential right here. Is Friends on the Other Side staple in every Amethyst deck? The lowest verified for a cold foil is gonna be by Feel Good Gaming, 431 with $1.27 shipping. And then Uncle Don's Cards has them for $3.50 with $1.27. Pop Swap has them for $4.30 with $1.27. So more than $5 is what you basically got to pay for this common foil, right? And Visions of the Future is not there yet. So maybe if it is a 4 of staple like the way Friends on the Other Side is, you might want to start foiling out your deck, right? But I like Friends on the Other Side. I'm playing Ruby Amethyst, I believe, tomorrow, and this is like a mandatory card in any Amethyst deck, right, Zach?
Yeah, and the thought that I think is like Visions to the Future may not be like a staple like it is in like Friends on the Other Side can kind of cross over to multiple Amethyst decks. However, the Visions to the Future seems to work better in Red Blue in comparison to like Sapphire Steel or Blurple. It doesn't see much play in those lists. So there is also like the thought there. This is just a first chapter card, and those cards are more sought after due to the scarcity that is that set. It was the more of the shorter print sets out of all the sets that were released. I think they're doing more to release like Rise of the Floodborn product back into the market. There was the D100 gift sets being sold at Downtown Disney this past week that we saw. So yeah, the cards are potentially reprinted. They haven't like confirmed or said that they would stop. They would make important announcements like that when they would, and they said they would. So we'll hold them to their word.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions asking if first chapter has been reprinted or this is a reprint or restock. And honestly, I just refer to the Lorcana Twitter account, and they haven't said anything about whether or not they've been reprinting. They said they would. They said they will let us know when they stopped printing the first chapter, and I believe they said we will keep printing till demand. So they don't have to necessarily say anything after that. And I feel like it's been implied that they've either just been restocking or they printed a bunch and just been giving us some. And either way though, I feel like you can tell when there's more first chapter booster boxes because then they start hitting less than $200 and stuff like that. But
They're at the sealed. There's sealed events right now going on at the Disney Lorcana Challenge at Vegas, and they're using first chapter. So there's more cards going to be introduced into the market, and more first chapter cards are going to be available. And that's how it goes, guys. Like there's just going to be time as time goes. There's going to be more product open that releases these cards and these singles into the market. Now, a lot of collectors when they buy them, they take them off forever or until they decide to sell their collection. But these cards, at least from my experience, some of them are harder for me to be buying in, and I would really strongly suggest you get your staples soon because this game, especially if you're looking to play, is ramping up. There's 2,000 people ready for this event tomorrow. If you guys are at this event, please come and say hi to Kevin and I. We have some stickers to give out. We're giving away one lucky goon a t-shirt that we have. It is our goon shirt that you've seen us wear. So please, guys, come say hi. We will decide our goons giveaway at the end of the day. But as always, Kevin, you want to sign us off with anything?
yeah, stay tuned to Lorcana Goons. Wish us luck tomorrow at the DLC in Vegas. Zach needs his invite so we can both go to nationals.
Trying,
No
man.
pressure, no pressure. But good luck to everybody else who's going to be there playing. If you did come up to us today on Friday and said hi, then you got a free pack. So that was really cool. And I'll probably upload like a little video of all the people we gave out free packs to. Gave away a whole box to Lorcana Goons subscribers and stickers today. So
Yeah.
that was really cool too. So thanks to everybody. We just hit 5,000 subscribers. We did a giveaway on the most recent video going over the deck lists tier or whatever. If you guys want to check out that video and join that giveaway too, so you can win possibly win a mat made by Joshua Polt, and that would mean a lot to us too. But we're looking forward to see what wins DLC Vegas. Hopefully, it's one of us. But until then, stay tuned till Arcana Goons again, and we'll see you Goons next time.